So we talked about the first Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, and it was received very well by the community of hedgehogs. But as any video game community, they wanted more, so Sega called Sumo Digital back up to do their thing once again, and Sonic and All-Stars Racing transformed. Now I have a lot more to say about this one, as I somewhat remember what was going on and what I was doing around the time. I was consciously online at this point. 8-year-old me was what the youth would call chronically online. I was very much indeed chronically online. Have you noticed Sonic fans had similar stories about not showing their love for Sonic until they got older? Because, yeah, that's pretty accurate. The only place you were getting Sonic discourse around this time was on the internet, and let's be real, Sonic wasn't getting any respect from anyone around this time. Let's not rewrite history here. Everyone hated Sonic in 2012. While this was only 6 months into 2012, it was 8 months from the release of Sonic Generations, and I remember Sonic just being in a horrible place around this time. Sonic Adventure 2 had its re-release on the current generation of hardware on this time, but it was just a really dry patch for Sonic. Hell, we were even speculating DLC for Sonic Generations, and I still can't believe they fumbled that bag yet again. How the fuck did they do that twice? 2012 was a very strange time for our blue boy. Yeah, Sonic Generations had just came out, and we weren't 100% a game on the first day and move on to the next game in the same hour type of society yet. It's interesting to think how far we've come and how history repeats itself, with the last major Sonic game before a new Sonic racing title is just Sonic Generations. Wait, what the? Let's be real here. We can't fault Sonic for what happened around this time. Sega/Sonic team weren't just releasing anything major, and why would they? Their 20th anniversary game just released, unfortunately. They just used their trump card a little too early, as the Red Luigi people were gearing up to release their new console, the Wii U. Now, I'm not gonna go too deep into the release of the Wii U, as it was never a console I owned until recently, and every Wii U game that I played has indeed been ported or brought to the Nintendo Switch in some way. And now with the Switch 2 on our hands, granted you still have all those Switch 1 games, you have a decent amount of games from different eras of Nintendo's history on one console. And that's not including the games from an era where I didn't even exist yet. Nintendo indeed came a long way from the Wii U, even if it's not the way we as customers of their product might have wanted it to happen. Sonic was never shy on appearing on Nintendo consoles. It's been that way since 2001. And while only 2 of those games were mainline Sonic games, if you don't count Sonic Unleashed being a port from the Xbox 360 and PS3 version, I wouldn't necessarily say Sonic found a home on the Wii and DS, but he definitely appeared there more than say the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation or PC. Hell, he even got a 2D Boost trilogy. I might look at these games in the future. All of this to say that Sonic Team just released Sonic Generations too early. Sonic 1 should have came out in 1992, and the series should have played out the exact same way. Maybe Gens would have gotten a Wii U port. April 2022 is the earliest I can find when it comes to this game being revealed. And what I do remember about this game was how quick people were willing to compare this game to Mario Kart 7, even though this game solos Mario Kart 7 and 8 depending on who you ask. At first glance, I don't really blame you for the comparison, since this game came out right after Mario Kart 7, but there was definitely more effort that went into this game compared to Mario Kart 7 in my opinion. Now, is that a fair comparison considering home console release and a 3DS game? These are 2 completely different calibers of game here, but that's when I remind you that Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform also released on the 3DS, with a good amount of features from the home console release, unlike the original game had back on the DS. I genuinely thought the Wii U version had more than the other ports. I have no clue why I thought this game was a Nintendo exclusive. Excuse me. Now, to address the transformation in the room, Sonic and company have these new karts that can transform to adapt to the water and air around them, which makes for some pretty awesome track design, probably some of the best track design we've ever gotten from this kart racing series. What, you thought Mario Kart did this first? Nah, Sonic introduced this wave racing concept. After a lap or so, the track will dynamically change to allow you to either take the skies or ski the waters to take different routes and shortcuts throughout the different tracks. And they flesh the hell out of these tracks, with different paths actually making it feel like this isn't just a gimmick. The track designers chefed up their finest tracks and references to throw in these tracks. When I first found time to sit down and play this game, I was really surprised to see that this game had a lot more going going for itself. More options besides just the mission mode. And while that might have been streamlined into the game's new World Tour mode, which is the main way you're going to be unlocking characters and new stages in this game, there are 5 of these World Tour Cups, if you want to call them that, and they all have different missions, races, and tracks for you to race on. A huge upgrade from the original game, especially with the new transform mechanics. It makes these races really interesting, considering on some stages you can take one path and your opponent will take another, effectively putting more effort in what you need to do in your races. Now, this isn't groundbreaking track design, hell, it's the bare minimum depending on who you ask, but for Sumo Digital to get as many alternate routes in this game after the 1 or 2 specific routes that certain tracks had in the last game is a huge step up. And not even to knock the track design of the next game, I think those are pretty good as well. I just don't like Team Sonic Racing, so my next video is going to be pretty interesting. Talk about gameplay, this game plays almost identically to the original game control wise. The only difference is tricks have been replaced with barrel rolls and flips for some reason. Now on one hand I can understand why they did that, you can only spam the left trigger to get the same trick so many times before it gets boring, but no one complained about that, so what was the reason for the simplification? Now you can definitely spam more flips, but I don't think the game gives you much room to do more than what, 3 flips at a time, and even if you can pull off more than 3, you only get a boost for 3, so it's kind of pointless. I admit it's kind of fun flinging them around like this, but I don't know, I kind of like the dedicated tricks they all had. Back to the World Tour mode, these races and challenges have 3 classes of difficulty you can get out of these. Now these cups have a set amount of stars you need to unlock everything in these cups. I recommend just going for the 3-star difficulty every time. This game isn't necessarily that difficult, but yeah, you will have to restart a couple of times. And that's until you beat them all and unlock expert mode. Wait, what the yeah, this game has more even after the 5 main cups. A brand new difficulty mode, expert mode, and yeah, you better have one character fully maxed out beforehand, because why can the CPU get that far? I won't go too deep into what to expect in these missions as they repeat a lot of them. Once you do one world tour, you've essentially done all of them. The rest of them are just for new stages and characters. Now, before I move on, can I just ask, what the fuck happened to the PC version of this game? Now, I'm not the smartest guy with computers, but my computer has some pretty decent specs, all things considered. For my graphics card, I have an RX 6600 in here, not an XT, but it's enough to run any game from 2010 to about 2017 perfectly fine, excluding any live service game. But these games specifically, they run like shit. Honestly, all of my Sonic games run like crap now except for the original Sonic generations. I guess it's time to reinstall Windows. Also, what the fuck happened to Knights? Why did they do this tonight? Alright, it's time to offer user opinion. Unless there was something I missed out on. I pretty much talked about everything but the unlockables in this game. I believe you should go out of your way to find out what they are yourself, because these games have high enough review scores, so I know most Sonic fans have played this game, like my good friend Silver joining us once again to talk about what he likes about this game, as this is one of his first. But don't hear it from me, hear it from him.
Hey guys, Silver here, and I'm joined once again to talk about my favorite car racer of all time, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform. Although I will say it's pretty disappointing that they got rid of the Sega in the title. Transformed is awesome, and this is the entry I grew up with, as I played this game shortly after I was introduced to the Sonic series of Generations. Transform features the same great arcade style racing with brand new transform mechanics that significantly changes both the vehicles and the track design mid-race, which does so much for expanding upon the sequel and giving it its own identity. But just like any other new car racer, Transform comes with new characters, those characters being Vice from Skies of Arcadia, Gillies Thunderhead from Golden Axe, Mimi from Super Monkey Ball, Joe Musashi from Shinobi, Gum from Jet Set Radio, Pudding from Space Channel 5, Knights and Riala from Nights into Dreams, the Sega Aegis car, and for some reason Wreck-It Ralph and Danica Patrick. Okay, to be fair, I think it's really cool that Wreck-It Ralph is here, and it makes perfect sense considering the game released around the same time as the Disney movie, and Sonic makes an appearance in it. As for Danica Patrick, yeah, I have no excuse for her. There are also some PC exclusive characters, but these inclusions are pretty weird. Like, we got characters from Sega of Europe games like Total War and Football Manager, and we also got characters from Team Fortress 2. Ryo Hazuki is also a PC exclusive character, which sucks because I love playing as him in the first All-Stars Racing. Oh, and there's this guy. Overall, I really like the character roster in Transformed. I do think that the original is slightly better due to the better variety of characters, as well as having characters like Opa Opa and the Bonanza Bros exclusive to it. However, that's not to say that Transformed has a bad roster at all, far from it. I absolutely love that Knights and Rayala are playable, as I'm a huge fan of Knights into Dreams. And although some fans complain that they don't drive cars and instead shapeshift into them, I think it makes perfect sense, as Nightmarians have the ability to shapeshift into vehicles in their own game, so I thought it was a cool callback. I also previously mentioned that Wreck-It Ralph being in the game was a fun form cross promotion, and Gum and Mimi are great inclusions to give Jet Set Radio and Monkey Ball more representation. Now give us Gon Gon and Baby, you cowards. But anyways, that's gonna be it for me. Have fun digging Mario Kart 8's grave. Plus, the Sega Ages card can literally turn into a Dreamcast controller boat. Like, come on, this is awesome.
This game has a way greater sense of speed compared to the original game. This game is fast as heck. It's a little disorienting sometimes. Chain boosting and tricks will keep you ahead of your competition. This game's skill gap is just too high because every character does move a little differently and cards have different stats, so you can choose if you want more speed, more acceleration at startup, better handling for turns, and the last one that I didn't go out of my way to unlock. I do enjoy this game more than the original game, and you'll catch me on All Stars Racing Transform before you'll catch me on Team Sonic Racing. Now, is that a high bar? No. It's either the first game or this game. I really enjoyed these two games, but I don't see how they can go from such a really good racing formula like this, especially with the transformations, because to this day I still think this is the best track design Sumo Digital's ever created. But I just don't see how they can go from a really good formula like this to whatever they did with Team Sonic Racing, and they had a 7-year gap to do so. But anyway, that's all I have to say.
Hey bro,
What?
word on the street is that you're making a Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform video, and I thought I'd like to join you, at least for a little bit.
I am indeed recording a video about this game, but like, how did you explain your presence?
Now I know. You're very starstruck by my amazing appearance and introduction, but don't worry, I'll take it from here. I think one of the greatest aspects in Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed was the racetracks. While Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing was a good time, in some aspects it kind of fell short and was pretty disappointing, mainly with the Sega fan service. The game felt more like a Sonic and Friends kind of game, and what I mean by that is that the game feels like 60 to 70% Sonic, and then the rest of it is other Sega stuff and franchises. You can definitely tell with the racetracks, with it not having much variety in the selection, the other franchises, and mainly just being fully around Sonic. Now that's not to say that there's necessarily anything wrong with that. I mean, Sonic is Sega's mascot after all, but it was still a little disappointing, especially with the other tracks, like I said, not having much variety with the other Sega stuff. But with Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, on the other hand, they definitely improved with the Sega fan service and then some. Like, of course, the game has series like Sonic, Monkey Ball, Jet Set Radio, etc. being represented, but now we have a lot more variety in the franchise selection. We got stuff like Afterburner, Panzer Dragoon, Shinobi, Skies of Arcadia, and so much more. And the track design complements and represents these franchises super well, especially with the mechanics that the game has to offer. It makes these tracks very memorable, even if you've never played these franchises before. Like, for example, I've never played Panzer Dragoon before, but the track was that good looking and like very well designed that it always stuck with me for a long time, even though I still never played it. That just goes to show the creativity, dedication, and care that has been put into the racetrack in this very game.
Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform is the best racing game out of this trilogy of racing games, and I say that wholeheartedly. While there aren't really things I can say about this game that I dislike, only thing about this game that I don't like are the All-Stars. Remember the All-Stars in Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing? How dope it was to actually get one, how aura-defining these All-Star moves were. What the fuck happened here? Why did they nerf these so bad? I feel like the only two characters that get proper all-stars are Knights and Rayala, and even then, they have the exact same all-star move. It's actually really sad. But other than that, that's really all we have to say about Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform. Thank you so much for the two other creators, Silver and Classic Z, for joining this video. Go subscribe to their channels. I'll link them in the description. I really thank you guys for the love and support on the recent videos. More to come, more to come. What do you like about this game? What console do you play it on? Do you wish people talked about this game more? Are you excited for the Team Sonic Racing video? Will I end up enjoying that game, since I'm going to sit down and fully play this game through again to see if I don't like it for no reason? And are you ready for Sonic Racing Crossroads? I know I am. But yeah, there's gonna be enough for this video. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless you all, and take care. Also, why'd they get rid of the announcer? 0 out of 10 game.